Welcome, people. We end up back yet again with another video. I'm happy today. I'm happy with some of the things that I saw in our 4-1 win over Burnley, right? And I'm also very happy about the scoreline. That scoreline looks very good. It makes you very happy as a Chelsea fan, right? It gives you hope for our future, right, in terms of this season. So yeah, I'm happy with what I saw today. Chelsea didn't waste my time, you know. However, the 4-1 scoreline doesn't tell the story of the game in its entirety, right? And that's what I've come here to do. So without further ado, let's get into the match review. Now, in the early minutes of the game, right, one thing that I could see that we were struggling with was to have possession in very good areas. So we had quite a bit of the ball in the first half, right? I think we had like 71% possession or something like that, right? But the problem with our overwhelming amount of possession in relation to Burnley's was the fact that it wasn't in the right positions, right? What do I mean by this? What I mean by this is that when that 71% possession, most of it was in our own half, right? The centre backs passing it amongst themselves, maybe passing it to Colwell or Kukureya in the fullback positions, but other than that was about it. Then maybe passing it to Caicedo in defensive midfield, to Enzo in defensive midfield, but then again, still within our own half. It wasn't the kind of position where it's like most of it was high up the pitch creating chances. It wasn't like that. So yeah, now I can't think of a reason of as to why that occurred, right? So against Fulham on Monday, they were pressing us, right, really high, right? And more so they were pressing us on the right hand side, on our right hand side, right? Cool. What this allowed us to do was to beat the press, right? And after we had beat the press, they had concentrated so much on that side of the field that on the left hand side there was so much space for Mudrik to be found in. You know what I'm saying? Or finding a Caicedo, a Palmer, in the center of the park, right? And then next thing you know, it's looking long for Fulham because now we could be in on goal type thing because we're in so much space. So yeah, that was the situation on Monday. Today was different. Today, Burnley, they didn't press us really, really high, but at the same time, they weren't dropping really deep, right, to defend. They weren't doing that. They just played a normal line, a standard defensive line, right? And they were well organized. They stayed in their positions. They weren't doing anything rash. So that made it difficult for us to find a way through them. And I think that's why we were passing it along the back so much with the sideways passes, the backwards passes, and all them thing there. So yeah. Now, in the 16th minute or so, Burnley get the ball on our left hand side, their right hand side, right? They play a through ball to Lyle Foster, right? Shout out to Lyle Foster, right? He was on the opposing team today, but he's a South African, so shout out to him. And he was decent in certain periods of that game. So yeah. Now, anyways, the through ball is played to Lyle Foster, right? Lyle Foster carries the ball, right? And now you're looking at two men to stop him, right? Because Colwell has already been beaten on his side, right? Um, you're looking at Disasi and Silva to stop him, right? Now there's just one problem with Silva. Silva is the wrong side of Foster. So it's going to be very difficult for him to stop Foster, right, at the pace that he's going without giving away a foul. Okay. Now, Disasi doesn't do a terrible job of trying to stop Foster because he didn't allow him to run in on goal directly, right? What's his name? Foster kind of had to angle his run a little bit to make progress. He couldn't just go straight through and look to have a one-on-one with Robert Sanchez. It wasn't like that. So he's forcing him wide, right? So he's having to angle his run, but at the same time, he's still making progress. Cool. He gets into the box, he lays it off, right? And one of the Burnley wingers, right, the winger who was on the left, he gets the ball, right, and now Kukurea is in front of him, and then it's just a goal in front of him. That's it, right? So he just has to beat Kukurea and Sanchez, and he's gonna score. Cool. So now he gets the ball, right, and he finds a way to shoot past Kukurea, right, and it ends up in the back of the net. Now, when you look at the goal, you're thinking, who can be looked at and who can be blamed for this goal? Whose fault is it, right? And truly speaking, it's very difficult to determine whose fault it is because by the time it gets to Kukurea, right, I'm thinking, oh, why didn't he put a foot out to try to stop the shot and everything like that? He did. The only problem is the ball went through his legs. which shows you that he actually did make an attempt to stop it with his to stop the ball with his right foot, but it just didn't work, right? Now, then you could also look at Robert Sanchez. He does make a movement to the left, but it wasn't a dive. You know what I'm saying? It seems like he didn't try hard enough to keep the ball out. So that's maybe one thing we could look at him for. But it is difficult to apportion blame to any single person. I think it's maybe just one of those goals that just happens, right? But nonetheless, it was frustrating for us to go through that. And I wasn't happy because it was like we have a lot of the ball. We don't have it in the right areas. Burnley had one proper attack and they scored. Now what? We're not playing with a lot of creativity or anything like that. Broya has barely touched the ball. He's had maybe 8, 9 touches. Or maybe like at that point it was 4 or 5 actually, right? But not more than that. And it's like, what are we going to do about the situation? Okay, cool. So for the rest of the first half, nothing really changed that much because again we're still passing the ball around in our own half, right? Sideways passes, backwards passes, no one in the midfield is making anything happen. So I'm looking at Caicedo to make things happen. I'm looking at Enzo Fernandez to make things happen. I'm looking at Conor Gallagher, right? The people on the wings, right? Sterling, okay. Sterling actually was doing something, He had a few attempts on goal, right? You could see that he's picking the ball up, he's being direct, he's cutting in, but nothing had come off at that point, There hadn't been any solid end product at that point. Cole Palmer, he had a shot towards goal from a distance away in the early stages of the game, but other than that, not much else. Broy is not being given service. He's in a graveyard shift. What can he do? You know what I'm saying? So that was the story of the first half, really. Until Sterling picks up the ball once again. He's direct again. He beats his defender. He puts the ball into the box, and the Burnley man concedes an own goal. At that point, it was like, it wasn't the most pretty. It wasn't the most pretty goal to score, right? It's not the most pretty goal that we're going to see all season from Chelsea, but it was effective. And that's all I cared about. In fact, it was an own goal. It's not like one of our players scored it themselves, but I don't care. A goal is a goal, right? The score was 1-1 at that point. That's all I knew. And this was in the 41st minute. So I'm thinking, okay, we can relax. We don't have to be stressed as Chelsea fans. Cool. We go in at halftime. I'm thinking, don't change anything. Keep things as they are, but Poch needs to talk to the boys, right? And get them to just go out there and express themselves. To just go out there and maybe take the ball at their feet and just be direct. Because that's what I think we were missing from the team as a whole, except for Sterling, right? There was missing directness. I think that if a team is not playing open, like how Fulham played against us or how Bournemouth played against us, that's fine. Okay, they're being very disciplined in their positioning, they're not leaving gaps, they're not leaving big spaces for us to attack. Okay, cool. Somebody take the ball, right, and run at this midfield, and try to take them on, get past them, and then make things happen from there. That's what I think the message needed to be from him to the players, but no changes, right? Give Broya 15 minutes, maybe his teammates improve, they can provide something for him, right? Then the second half starts. Broya has been taken off. Jackson is coming on. And I was upset about that. I'm not going to lie. I was upset about that because I'm thinking, okay, in the starting lineup, Broya started, and I personally wouldn't have started him, right? I would have rather started Jackson. But now he's played, right? He's been decent in the little time that he's been on the ball, right? But his teammates need to do more for him. They need to create more for him. Cool. So now for him to be taken off, it felt very harsh. Like, he's done nothing wrong. That first half performance, none of it is on Broya. So it's like, why is he coming off? I don't understand. Okay, in the second half, in the first 2 or 3 minutes, right, Sterling gets the ball on the left-hand side, right? He drives at the defender, right, and he gets into the box, right, puts the ball in, and then, he puts the ball in, and he's fouled by the defender, right, giving away a penalty. Now, some people would say, oh, maybe was that outside of the box? Maybe it wasn't inside. Are they sure? But Sterling was on the line, and the commentator was even saying this and saying that he thinks that since it was on the line, it should be given. So, yeah, in the end, it was given, and Cole Palmer expertly put it away, right, into the bottom corner to give Chelsea the lead and to score his first Chelsea goal, and that was absolutely sensational. Absolutely sensational. Cool. So now we're 2-1 up. right? Now I'm thinking, maybe we're gonna start oozing more confidence, oozing more class, right? But that we didn't really change much after we scored that goal. I'm not going to lie. Like, if I'm actually being perfectly honest, we didn't change that much in terms of how we played. It still wasn't great from a creativity perspective, right? However, for us to get the two additional goals that we did after that second goal, it came through really some brilliance from Raheem Sterling. Some good play from a few other players, but some brilliance from Raheem Sterling. So now for the third goal in particular, right? Sterling receives the ball on the left, right? I think it was in the 73rd minute, right? He makes a run, right? And he gets to the byline. He puts the ball into the box. That ball wasn't perfect for Jackson to finish it one time. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, the ball goes across the face of the goal, right? Palmer gets the ball, um, controls it, passes it to Jackson. Jackson controls it, right? He makes a little movement. He shimmies a little bit to the left, right? Loses the defender. He shoots and he scores. Actually, no, sorry. This is the fourth goal. Let's go back to the third goal first. Sorry. Apologies for that. So with the third goal, right? Um, Burnley lose the ball, right, due to some sloppy play in the middle of the park. Caicedo gets the ball, right? He gives it to Gallagher, and Gallagher passes the ball to Sterling on the left. And at that point, Gallagher is in acres of space, and he puts the not Sterling is in acres of space, right? And he puts the ball into the back of the net expertly, right? Cool. That was the third goal. Now the fourth goal, like I said, 73rd minute. Sterling gets the ball, right? Quick turn of pace. He gets to the byline, puts the ball into the box, right? Passes Jackson, passes the goalkeeper. It goes past everyone really except Cole Palmer. He controls it, gives it to Jackson. Jackson, a little shimmy to the left, a shot, a fourth goal. At that point, we're safe. We're home and dry at that point. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing that Burnley could have done after that. So yeah, that was the game really. We could have had a few, maybe one more goal, right? Because there was a point in time where Mudryk had come on, right? And he put the ball into the box and it came to Jackson on his left foot. But it seemed like Jackson wasn't confident to just strike it first time and see what happens, you know? So he got the ball, he controlled it, took a few touches, tried to play a back heel, didn't work out. So yeah, that was the end of the goal scoring, really, in the game. But what I'm happy about today is that Sterling stepped up. As a leader in this team, he stepped up, right, with his performance, right? So, yeah, sensational work from him. Very, very happy with him. I think it's a shame that he hasn't been called up for his national team. Gareth Southgate, bro, I don't know what you're thinking, but your your country could probably use Sterling, England could probably use Sterling, bro, because this man he does have times where he's inconsistent, right? So he'll play well this time and then another time he's not playing so well, whatever. But when he's actually playing well, when he's feeling confident, when he's just doing what he does best, he's a very, very good player. So him being excluded from that England team could be a problem, but anyway, it's not my problem. So yeah. And then what else? Another thing is clinical finishing. We actually finished our chances clinically. The few that we had, we finished them very, very well. For example, Sterling gets us the penalty, right? Now, Cole Palmer is under a bit of pressure to score because this decides whether his team goes into the lead or not. The Burnley fans were making some noise, that would have put some pressure on him. There was a delay, right? With VAR to make sure that it is indeed a penalty and not a free kick. You know what I'm saying? And that obviously would have put him under pressure, but he just put the ball into the back of the net like it was nothing. So I'm happy about that. He was clinical in that situation. And then Sterling, with his chance that he got, courtesy of a pass from Gallagher, he put he put it away very well. So shout out to him. He could have easily messed it up. And then Jackson as well, when he received the ball from Palmer, he could have gotten a bit too excited, and then he doesn't finish the chance as he should, but he kept his composure and he just scored. So yeah, sensational work. I think Sterling's directness and our clinical finishing today won us that game. Burnley did mess up here and there in terms of when they're playing out from the back, they play out relatively well, but then they try a longer pass and then it just breaks down. Whatever they were trying to do, it just broke down, which is actually how we scored our third goal. So yeah, player ratings, let's get into it. Robert Sanchez, I'll give him a 6.5 because he made a save that I consider to be a good save in the first half. But then again, maybe if he just dove to the left for the goal, maybe it wouldn't have been a goal. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Right back, Mark Kukurea. Kukurea can get a 6.5. The reason he gets a 6.5 is because he didn't have the Burnley players in his pockets, right, on that right hand side. But at the same time, it was a decent enough performance, right? I think there's certain things that he just needs to improve, like to not be so erratic. For example, first half, he got a yellow card for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Like he was, how can I say this? What he did to get that yellow card was very unnecessary. You know, trying to kick the Burnley player. Like, there's no need for that, bro. You know, so I think in certain aspects of his game, he just needs to calm down a little bit and he's going to be all good. Right centre back, Axel Disasi. Disasi gets I'll give him a 7. You know, I'm not sure there's much more he can do on the goal, you know, and then outside of that, he played well. So he gets a 7. Thiago Silva definitely a 7 as well, right? Similar to Disasi. I don't know if there's much he can do, right? Um, I don't know if there's much that he can do about the goal, right? And then also outside of that, played well. Levi Colwell at left back. I'll give him a 7. Solid performance, solid defensive performance, right? Other than the fact that he got beat one time, right, when Burnley scored. Other than that, solid. So yeah. The double pivot of Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo. Enzo gets a 6. Maybe you could push it to 6.5. I just feel like he didn't do much today. He wasn't his usual self. So, yeah. But a player having one off game is fine. He plays so well most of the time that him having an off day once in a while is okay. Caicedo 7.5. And the reason that I'm giving him 7.5, I think he was very effective in winning the ball back from Burnley. So shout out to him. Gallagher's a 7. Actually, nah. Now Gallagher has to be a 7 because of the fact that there were instances in the game where you could see he's working hard to win back the ball for us. You know, he's giving it everything, number 1. And number 2, he got the assist for the Sterling goal. So shout out to him as well. As for Cole Palmer, we'll give him a 7, right? I don't think that he was as impactful in this game as he was on Monday night, but then again, he did put away the penalty, so for that he gets at least 1 point for that. So if it weren't for that, he would have gotten a 6, but because he scored the penalty, he gets a 1. He gets an extra point. So yeah. Then who played on the left again? Sterling, 8.5. Definitely, because he found a way to involve himself in all of our goals, so he deserves credit for that. 8.5 for Sterling. Armando Broja, he gets a 6, bro, because he didn't get just an average score because of the fact that he didn't get serves from his teammates, and like, what do you expect him to do? So yeah. Then Nicholas Jackson, I'll give him a 7, definitely, because of the fact that he scored. Again, he also didn't have a lot of chances coming his way, but with the chance that he did get, he put it away. So shout out to him. Mudryk wasn't on long enough for me to give him a score. Matson wasn't on long enough for me to give him a score. So yeah, that's that, people. That's the end of the video. Our next game is in a little while, right? It's on the 21st of October, which is like 14 days away. So yeah, the international break hopefully is good for us. Nobody gets injured on international duty, and then from there we prepare to face the Arsenal, right? At Stamford Bridge. So yeah, peace, people. I'll see you next time.